Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Part two. This is the big one. We're talking about the cult and we're talking to and saying hello. We're flying over to the US of A, over in New York City, home of the Madison Square Garden. And we've got the great Andrew here, a great mate of mine now, man. I loved part one, man. That's why I love talking to like-minded people. And I think inspiring you to be better and inspiring by your words, my friend. And thank you so much for your honesty and your key word, your authenticity. I love it. It was so good. Now, part two is about the book and about your experiences in the cult. Now we're going to go. Yes. It's going to be unfiltered, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, as you said, HBO's picked it up, and a few other major TV networks have talked about it. But we are going to talk about. It's going to give you the chance, unfiltered, unsanctioned, right here on a chat with Joe Removing Must Write Your Story. This is your time.
Everything's on the table. Yes,
everything's on the table, and I'll go hint. There'll probably be a podcast or a YouTube channel with this man as well. Hint.
It looks like it. Yes, everything's on the table, no holds barred, and although it has been on Dayline, NBC, Vice, and HBO, they have barely scratched the surface. So you, the audience, are going to be hearing things that the world has never heard before. We're dropping the truth right here, right now. We are making news.
Absolutely. Mate, as I go in pro wrestling, hot tag. Off you go. Tell us about the cult.
Yeah.
Quickly how you got into it, because obviously it was because of mindset, because you wanted to feel accepted. That's just my take on it, because that's what I've done in my life. I've gone to things that I needed to be accepted and been a people pleaser. Sure. And then you got into that situation. Tag, you're it. Off you go.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, the story itself isn't just about the cult. It's about, the spiritual deception. It's about finding myself. It's about awakening. But in the working through confusion and belief systems. But as far as how I ended up in the cult, man, I'll tell you, it didn't happen overnight. It started with the seeking journey. It started with, a desire for finding truth. And I had some inexplicable spiritual experiences that completely crashed my worldview. I was at a point where I was searching into spirituality. I started doing meditations for the first time and had a couple meditation experiences that were not supposed to be possible. I heard voices talking to me. I saw with my eyes closed. I was looking at, just like I'm looking at this TV screen or my computer screen right now, clear as day. I was looking at images. A week later, I saw a blue orb floating in the sky above me on the beach in Asbury Park. So my worldview completely crashed. I was on a journey searching for meaning, and I had come across these people who were running a chat room, and they had a website that was all devoted to spirituality. And when I joined the chat room, they all had names, which was normal to see. People have new names like Buddha, Mother God, Archangel Michael. People emulate beings that they think are worth emulating. I didn't think anything of it until I realized that these people actually believed they were the embodiments of these people.
Wow.
And, that's where things started to get a little bit different. And I did end up joining the group because I honestly felt led there, and the titles didn't mean so much to me as the fact that I found myself in a place where I was increasingly feeling this distance between me and everybody I knew, the world around me. And I didn't have people who were on the same page as me. And I found these people and I felt drawn to them because they believed all the same things that I believed. They were talking about helping to awaken humanity, and I felt my calling. So I joined them, and I walked in the door after a plane ride from Tennessee to Denver airport in a 5.5 hour taxi ride south in the middle of the night. I walk in the home and I took 2 steps in. I looked to my left. The kitchen is overflowing with dishes. I see food crusted on them. The place was a mess. In front of me was a table full of laptops, dust, clothes strewn about everywhere. It looked like a bomb had gone off in this house. Mother God, as she was called, who was this divine embodiment of love. She was God, she claimed to be. Her back was turned to me. And I'm walking in the house, and the first feeling I had was, oh my God, I made a huge mistake. And as I get to her and I start to turn, her back is towards me, I realize she is humped over in her chair, completely in a whole different world. She was um, unable to speak, unable to talk. I didn't know it at the time, but she had been drinking and awake for 36 hours on a mushroom trip at the same time. She was in a whole nother world, couldn't put a sentence together, completely incoherent, drool coming out of her mouth. And in that moment, I thought to myself, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And I had gone so far, I left so much behind to get there. And I said, my options are to tuck tail and run, or do what's difficult and push through and try to find balance in what seemed to be a topsy-turvy environment that made absolutely no sense to me. But I let go of my worries and my fears. I didn't want to be guided by my fear in that moment, so I sucked it up and I said, I'm here now. I'm going to give it my best shot. And that was my introduction to the team. Over the course of the next couple weeks to months, it became quite clear that it wasn't what I thought it was in the sense of serving humanity, that Mother God was more and she was more concerned with power over truth. She was more concerned with control over free expression of ideas. There were control mechanisms in place. Um, you weren't supposed to just express your disbelief. Well, you have a drinking problem, but you claim to be egoless and perfect God, and it doesn't make sense. So I'd like some answers. Well, no, you don't get answers. You get laughed at and told that you're in your ego. You need to go meditate on it and think about it and figure out what's wrong with you, that you would come to Mother God, God of all people, and ask these kinds of questions. So that's the environment I found myself in. And, for a while there, I was lost. I was in a bad place, and it took some time. And it took a lot of crazy events that happened, but eventually I began to find myself.
Wow. Well, there's a lot to take
For
in
an
there.
intro, yeah.
That's an intro. So, yeah, I guess in a way, what had happened was, as I said, you're trying to find yourself. You found this group, this cult, and they said the right things for you because you were at that um mindset. You're at you. That's where your mind was at. I resonate with the voices in your head with what you said, and I totally get it. I mean, people say that you
Yeah,
go crazy, but it's not. I believe it's you talking to yourself in a lot of ways because that's where your mindset is, feeding your mind, and where you're at. This thing came up because you needed someone to believe in, someone to accept you.
right,
So you had
right.
that, and you had that resonant experience where you've gone, oh my God, I think I'm in a wrong spot. When you saw that Mother God, crouched over drinking, if I'm correct in saying. So, how long were you in the cult for, and what was it? Was it a? I guess what I'm going to ask you is, was it more mind control? There was no physical issues there.
Well, I was in the cult for I guess you could say about 9 months. I
Oh, that's all
left
right. Oh, good. That's all
sh
right.
sh sh Yeah, she actually left the cult behind after I left and then came and followed me across the country. That's
Wow.
another story we can get into. Yeah, I'm the only person she actually ever left the
Hey,
cult
go
for.
go with
Um,
that, mate. Go with it. We're fresh. Let's go with it.
yeah, so I was in the cult for 9 months. I eventually, at first she told me I was supposed to be Father God. She told me I was supposed to be God with her.
Right.
Um, and I didn't see that coming. And it didn't take long for me to realize that, that wasn't going to happen, that this is all a bunch of bull. I spent a few weeks trying to follow her advice and then realized that no, that's not the right direction to go in. I spent 9 months and eventually became the person who's fighting against the cult from the inside, trying to dismantle it, trying to snap her out of it. And we had actually been in a relationship for those 9 months. She came after me. Actually, I didn't have any intentions of it, but it got to a point where I had to admit that people aren't going to change unless they want to. You can't force anybody to change. And while I tried really hard to snap her out of it, I got to a point where I had to say, you know what? I'm going to take my life in a new direction, and this isn't working. I love you all. I left in love, hugs all around, but I'm taking my life in a new direction. And not only it wasn't 2, 3 weeks after I left, I found myself in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I left the team in California on the other side of the country when she messaged me and said, I feel guided to leave the team behind and I want to come and be with you. Now, I had spent 9 months serving her like a queen, treating her well. While I railed against Mother God, her real name was Amy, I supported Amy like a queen. And I found that balance between the two of treating the human being like gold, but I gave Mother God no reprieve as far as the delusional belief system goes. And she wanted to leave it all behind and follow me, and she did. And I gave her a couple months. She promised to leave it all behind, but she was just telling me what I wanted to hear. And after a couple months, I had to say, this isn't working. One of the guys came from California and got a hotel room, and I dropped her off where she would stay with him. And I said my goodbyes and ended up leaving. And that was how I left the cult. In the end, it was about a year altogether, but some of the things that happened in the interim were absolutely insane. A lot of control mechanisms that would defy belief. That as they say, sometimes truth is stranger, much stranger than fiction.
Oh my God. Yeah. So it's all I could say is, I mean, sorry to make the comparison to Charles Manson because that's the famous cult that we all know. And there's
Sure.
obviously a hell of a lot of them going around. But even what was going through your head with regards to, you said there's a lot of control mechanisms. There's a lot of, I guess, reassurances of insecurities within you. It's like it doesn't matter where you go. I mean, people,
Yeah.
I say a lot of people who get influenced by people because their insecurities are being, I guess,
Right.
pushed to the surface. Go, you won't be anything because, or you don't have the knowledge to get out of this thing until you actually gone and said, I'm going to grab this by two and move by the ball by the horns and move. What were those control mechanisms? Can you tell us a little bit about if you don't mind, a little bit
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
was going on within that 9 months, and when you said you were serving this mother God person, what was the servant?
Yes.
What did serving mean? If it, I mean, unfiltered, but I'll leave it up to you to talk
Sure.
what you need to
Sure.
talk.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
afraid, yes,
happy.
sir.
I'm happy to share all of that. Yeah, so the cults, they don't start with, follow me, I'll ruin your life, right? I mean, that's
Oh
not the
yeah,
tagline.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I know that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They
I
don't
mean,
start with, follow me, I'm gonna ruin your life, I'm gonna separate
could
you
I
from your family and isolate you. I
could
mean,
I
that's
could
not the,
could I
yeah,
just sorry, I've got a bit of a delay.
yeah.
Could I just ask you? There was just to give you a comparison. There was a show on I think Netflix. They're talking about the twin flame. They had these two people putting
Mm,
people together. Oh, you've seen it. You know what I'm
twin
talking.
flame universe.
That's the one, Twin Flame Universe. That's the one. That really, a couple of years ago, that really flipped me out to see what people will do to manipulate and why they do it, my friend. Why? But we'll go into that later. Sorry to interrupt you there, but I
No,
thought that
no, by all means.
that really resonated with me with the amount of control that people have and what was actually happening within there, my friend. I'll leave it to you. Sorry to interrupt you
Yeah,
there.
yeah, by no, no, by all means. I mean, jump in anytime. I mean, they tell you you're special. They tell you you're here, for a purpose. They tell you that, you have been chosen, and you have wounds. You're craving meaning. They don't just exploit them. They wrap them in love and light and say, this is healing. And by the time you realize the truth, you're already way deep in it. And you're not just following anymore. You find that you're trying to protect what you thought was finally real. You find yourself surrounded by people who believe in the belief system, and you're the last thing you want to do is put a target on your back and fall at odds with everybody. So there's a part of you that starts just going along to get along because you don't want to be the person that everybody is shunning out of the group, right? And that's the environment you found yourself in. And actually, I came up with a bunch of terms because a lot of these things, while they have general names, were never really named cult specific to these control mechanisms that cults use. And one of them would be piggybacking,
Okay, what
is
is
what
that?
I named it.
Piggybacking.
And what Amy would do is she would hijack your own personal story of transformation or your own emotional moments and use them as proof of her own divinity or importance. And
Wow.
for example, once I described the spiritual experience I had before joining the cult, and Amy said, "Oh, that was me." That was my higher self just guiding you the whole time. So she
Wow.
would see these opportunities to convince you that she was more than who she was, that she was God. That, and I call that piggybacking. That's just one way. Another one would be what I call past polishing. What she would do is tell stories of her past, and she had rewritten the stories in such a way that she would tweak them and always, weave in the threads or undercurrent of her always meaning to be Mother God, as if she would say, like, she worked at McDonald's once, and she said the reason she was supposed to work at McDonald's was because this is some sick, dark corporation, and that she was put there to work there and to spread love and light from within the depths of this dark place. So she would, take all the stories of her past and polish them up in a way that kind of reiterated why she was always meant to be Mother
Wow.
God in
Wow.
the
Oh.
first place.
I'd
And
say, sorry, keep going. Sorry, mate.
yeah, she was masterful at this, and you find most of these leaders are quite intelligent people. Like when you put them just on an IQ level, they tend to be pretty smart. I mean, nobody follows a dum-dum, right? They tend to be people that you look up to. Another one was called name casting, and that is when she would assign a spiritual title or a name to somebody, call you Archangel Michael, or say your name is Horus, and make you feel like you are somebody important and somebody special. And so she created and gave you status that made you feel like you had a name that made you powerful and special. But she also had the power to take that away because she was the one who dubbed you that, right? So it made you
Wow.
live up to it and gave you this feeling like you had to go along to be this person, to live up to it, or risk losing everything if you didn't play along.
Okay, I'm gonna butt in there. That's interesting. So you've been given this almighty power by this person who's trying to manipulate what was going through your head. And you can see why a lot of people, number one, are really critical about coaches on spiritual levels. You can see that.
Sure,
I
absolutely.
totally get it. I totally get it. And you've just proved it. But then what was going through your head when she did say you were Horace, and what were the actions that you had? Did you have any actions to do or anything like that, or were you just basically put on this pedestal for her own enjoyment?
Yeah, so she told me that I was Archangel Lucifer. Okay, she told me I was going to be
Wow.
Father God, that I was supposed to embody this energy of Father God, but that I had really been Lucifer, Archangel Lucifer, and that, all the difficult things I'd been, the bad person I'd been, and when I was a teenager, the trouble I had gotten into, she would, do that whole past polishing where she would show me how all the things I'd went through in my prior life meant I was Archangel Lucifer. Look at all the dark things you did, how society treated you bad. Now
Wow.
you're really the light bringer and you're bringing light. You're transforming what it means to be Lucifer. You're transforming the idea of what Lucifer is. And she would put that on you and you would feel compelled to live up to it.
What was your?
And
Can I butt in again? What was
yeah,
your?
yeah.
Yeah, that's intriguing because I'm looking at the mind, what your mindset, and I'm looking at what she's actually trying to do. What is a total? I won't say take your soul as such, but really take your life away from you, your
It is.
independence, and
It
and
is.
make you feel dependent on her. Is that basically what where it went? And
Exactly. That's exactly it. You are dependent on her completely. She is calling the shots. She is in control. You have to, it's the belief system. You have to support her. You have to be in service to her. And if you're not, then you're not living up to your title. You're not being all you can be. You are not serving humanity. You are on your mission. You are not doing you are not in, as she would say, quote, right action. And if you are not in right action, you're in wrong action, and you are actually actively working against the betterment of humanity. And that is what she would tell you, and that is what she would preach. And for the first couple months when I was green and I was still figuring things out and hadn't found myself, I mean, I was meditating 2 hours a day. I was going into this, what we had it called a light room, a room that was made just for meditation and spiritual practice. Going in there, butting my head against a wall, figuratively speaking, almost actually, but butting my head against a wall, trying to figure out why I still felt this disconnection with everything she was teaching me. And despite trying so hard, and that was really my own intuition was holding me back from fully buying in and letting go and losing myself in the process.
can I
And
keep going? Sorry, mate. I'll just
no,
it's
no,
yeah.
no, I was gonna move on. So please, if you have something to this
Oh,
topic,
mate,
let's go.
I do, mate. I just look at it with people in these days that get into bad relationships. I guess they're looking for a sense of meaning, a sense of
Yeah,
purpose.
sure.
I guess they attract the wrong people. I'm very big on negative energy and energy vibration that you bring in
Same.
because you haven't actually found your balance, or when you do find your balance, you're sort of trying to get yourself worked out. Do you believe that it's sort of like a bit of a similar situation? I mean, you were in that cult that sort of took you away, and you've got men and women who go into sort of in any type of relationship, whether it be friendship or sexual relationship or a full-on romantic relationship that sort of have those sort of traits happen to them. Do you believe it's
100%, 100%. What we're really looking at is narcissism. That what we're
exactly?
really
Yep.
looking at is narcissism. So, and that's what I make it a point to say to people when I'm speaking and hoping to inspire is that yes, my experiences are unique and they're different, but so are yours. But we've all found ourselves in this place where we're losing ourselves, whether it be a job and a boss or whether it be a
Inspiring, mate.
relationship. We all find ourselves in these kinds of situations.
It's
They're
inspiring.
all just the specifics are different, sure, but the process and what is actually happening tends to be the same, and the way out. The ways you find yourself, what you can do to move through these situations, same processes, absolutely.
Okay, so you've written your book about the experiences in the cult. What was the deep? I'm going to ask you what is the deepest hurt that you had
Mm.
in that cult? Thinking one day you were laying on a bed or whatever, and thinking, hang on, what? Yeah, I mean, there's probably probably a bloody 100, mate. You know what I mean? But
No, no, no.
Was there one moment? There's always moments in life that you remember, right? Was there a moment in your life where you went down there and going, hang on a damn minute, what's going on here? Or you thought to yourself, hang on, this feels really good, but it feels very unauthentic. I'd like to take this time to shout out our supporters at Liberty Bullion, the best gold, silver, and platinum traders in Melbourne, even Australia. If you want to give them a call, their knowledge, their customer service is second to none. Back to the show.
I laughed because you said the words, maybe you're laying in your bed. And I'm going to tell you a quick story because you hit the nail on the head. When she told me I was supposed to be Father God, I was completely overwhelmed. I didn't agree. It's not what I came for. I wanted to be a guy in the background. I knew marketing. I'd help the team grow, and I did that. I put us on a whole new level. I did not think I'm supposed to be Father God to her Mother God. Well, over the course of a few weeks, things weren't materializing fast enough for her. I wasn't turning into Father God as fast as she wanted. So we were going to grease the skids with the mushroom trip. And
Ah,
I was given way more than any person has any right to take, and she thought this was going to help grease the skids so Father God would download into Andrew and finally be here to help her awaken humanity. And all I remember after taking is I was laying on a bed, just like you said, which is why I started laughing, and I came to. She was hovering over me, completely enthralled in the moment, anticipating, waiting to see what would happen. And must have been zoned out of it for an hour or so, and I came to. And the first thing I remember, the whole team is waiting around in anticipation. Did he turn into Father God? I started laughing so hard because the first thought I had was, uh-oh, still Andrew, and this is all bull. This whole thing, everything I've been trying to do for the last 3 months, everything going on here, that was the first moment when I realized this is all a bunch of crap.
wow.
And I'm laying on the bed looking at her. She's looking at me, and I thought to myself, well, what do I tell them? I didn't tell them right away. I kind of just played it off and tried to like make it go away. And just, I remember looking at one of the team members and saying, wow, you're really powerful. And, I'm tripping on mushrooms, and everybody is. And I thought to myself, do not tell them what is going on in your head. Because in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm still Andrew. This Father God stuff is nonsense. She is full of nonsense. All of these titles, these are delusions. And that was the first moment where I started to really snap out of it and find myself. So when you said, what was the hard moment for you, maybe laying on your bed, that made me laugh because that was it. And it was only followed up by a moment where I was given an ultimatum to keep my mouth shut or leave the house because they didn't want the truth getting out to all of our team members and followers. And it was in that moment where I saw her actually choose lies, darkness, deceit over truth, light, and love. And that was also another very difficult moment for me. It was a fork in the road, and I chose to tell the truth. They didn't kick me out of the house, but I was given this ultimatum, and that's when I realized this group is in big, big trouble.
Okay. We've got about probably 5 or so minutes to go. Mate, thank you so much for being your authentic self. I just needed to say that. And that's
Thank you.
and that's
Thank you. I'm happy to share.
yeah, it's been an eye opener, but an absolute pleasure. And now that we're connected, we will keep going. Now, the inspiration behind the cult and the book. Now, I want to ask you. There's people going to be watching this that we know what's happening in the world, and there's people out there who are trapped. And we'll say,
Yes.
and I'll say cult. I'll say in a relationship. I'll say they're trapped because they haven't found their true self or they can't find their truth
Yes.
because of, I say, let's say nurturing or non-education or not having the chance to actually educate themselves on themselves and find the right and true meaning. What advice do you give people right now in this situation and what they've got to do?
Great question. Look, we we all want something to believe in. We do. But when we give our power away, whether it be in a relationship, a belief system, a job, a cult, it can destroy us. It can. When we
Yep.
stop living in our authenticity and we stop being our true selves. So it is our responsibility. Nobody is going to do it for us. It is on us. And it's on us to own our life, to own our responsibilities, to own our experiences. You don't need to be perfect to be free. You just need to be authentic. That's all that matters. You don't need to be perfect. And you just have to take the first step. Don't look at the whole thing. Don't get carried away with, oh my God, I can't believe all this stuff has happened to me. How do I deal with it all? Let it go. Just focus on taking one step at a time every day in the direction of who you want to be, and you will get there, I promise. Just give it your authenticity and put your heart into it, and it will happen.
Mate, inspirational words, and that's gonna, mate. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's look. I've learned a lot from you, my friend. I really
Oh,
have.
thank you.
I really
Thank
have.
you.
I mean, I'm where I am in my life, and it doesn't matter what you be, but it's really funny that divine timing and what you need to
Mhm.
hear will come up in some way. And I tell you right now,
Mm,
this was divine timing for me, learning so much from you, my friend, and I'm
thank you.
absolutely grateful
That means a
for the
lot to
for
me.
the for the op. If I could just say that, when we're going through what you're going through, and you have your mindset the way it is, and you're thinking, where you're going, or if you've done something wrong, and then something comes to you to give you an answer, you've just got to believe. And I believe today this is the answer for myself, and I hope,
Mm.
and when people listen to this, they'll get the answers that they need. And mate, I'm very grateful for having you on this podcast, my friend, and thank you so much. Now, what we need to do, let's get some authenticity. And for the last 2 minutes, I want you to plug this great book and where they can find
Oh,
you.
thank
Let's
you.
let's get let's get
Yes.
let's go. Let's get it up there. Let's get it
Let's
up.
do it.
Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
Let's
So,
do it.
yeah, it is an amazing story. It really is. While it's about cults, it's about spiritual deception. It's about truth. It's about finding yourself despite all of your challenges. You could be surrounded by an environment that is not conducive to anything that you want to see from your life, but you have still been given and created with the power that you need to be your best self and be the best version of yourself. In my book, while it is about my experiences with this infamous Love Has One cult, the real undercurrent and the power of the story is to show you that we are all created with the power to be our best selves and to find ourselves no matter what challenges and to overcome, to find ourselves overcoming the fire, whether we be burned alive or not, we will come out of it and we will rise. And the book is called The War on Love. It is the origin story of Love Has Won and the rise of Mother God. And I think you will enjoy it. It's a coming home story. It's a story that anybody can relate to, truly, when it comes down to challenges. You can find it on thewaronlove.com. You can search for it on Amazon. And I appreciate if you love the book, leave a review on Amazon. It goes a long way and helps others to find the book as well. And thank you for having me. The audience, thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed this. I have given you my heart and my soul, and I hope that you have found something worthy and of value to you through my words. Thank you.
Mate, I tell you what, I'm not going to lie. It's been magnificent. I can't wait to release this And Andrew, thank you so much for your authenticity, your honesty, and you'll be getting a personal review from me, a video. I'll be making a video, and if you want to work with this man, you've got my recommendation. And I'll tell you right now, I'll be sending that out to him very soon, Andrew. I'll be sending that out to you very soon. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been a chat with Jay. Remove your mask, write your story. Kangaroos, koalas, Steve Irwin impersonation, everything else down under, my friends. But if you want to, you've got the information, you've seen it come up on the chat. Get on Amazon, The War on Love with Andrew. Thank you so much. And I got on my 50th birthday. Yesterday was the anniversary. My best birthday ever. I met my heroes, the WWF, WWE champion, Hall of Famer Bret Hart. I don't know if you watched the pro wrestling, Bret the Hitman Hart. I actually got to met him at the bar that he runs in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, versus at the Stampede.
No
and
awesome.
I shook his hand, and I always finish with this: be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Every day.
That's it.
Yes.
I hope he sees this. Andrew, thank you so much. This has been a chat with Jay. We look forward to the next episode. Get on Amazon. Get this man's book. He's inspiring. Take care, ladies and gentlemen, and we will speak very, very soon. Want to do a big shout out to our friends and supporters at Liberty Bullion. Sammy and the team are the best gold, silver, and platinum traders in Australia. Make good choices. Give them a call. Back to the show.